Hello YouTube. Today is November 15th, which means that we've reached the halfway point of my 30 videos in 30 days project. So I am answering 30 questions for the 30-day trans challenge for Transgender Awareness Month. Today's question is loading. So as soon as my computer decides to cooperate and give me the question, because like I said before, I don't really read these before I start these videos, just to try to get something spontaneous, so it's a little less boring for you to watch. With the caveat that in order to make sure that I actually do all of these videos, I'm also not doing any kind of like grand preparation. So this is me in my pajamas answering questions. So I'll also try to get 3 videos done today so that you get a video today and tomorrow and Sunday. Okay, question number 15. How have you embraced your trans identity? It took me a long time to accept that I was transgender and what that actually means to me and to the life I live. I did a lot of, I don't know if denial is, well, I guess I lived in a lot of denial that, you know, I could control, you know, my, gender dysphoria, or, that I could limit, you know, what that actually, how far it went, you know, and I could just suppress and bury anything that fell outside of these very narrow boundaries that I had created, you know, in order to sort of maintain this life that I thought I was supposed to be living, based on a lot of other people's expectations, and, you know, to be fair, based on my own expectations too. I didn't want to have to really deal with it or accept that this was the case, and I knew that I wasn't cisgendered, but I didn't want to really embrace anything beyond that, and I was living a very cis-hetero life. You know, I was married, and the boundaries of our relationship could only contain a certain level of, I don't know, transgender activities or, you know, life, and that was fine. You know, there was some of that was a lot of choice on my part. You know, you make decisions in life, and then when you do that, it closes off other options, you know. It's possible that I didn't have to get married at 22, and that I could have really explored what it means to me to be trans. But the thing is, I didn't have the language, I didn't have the knowledge then, and I wouldn't have made that choice. I wouldn't have chosen to not get married, you know, because it's, well, 1, I was in love, 2, it's who I wanted to be, and 3, I would not have had my daughters, and, you know, there's just no world I want to live in where that's true. You know, so I made choices that closed off certain paths, and that's fine. You know, there was some feeling on my part of being, you know, trapped in this environment by these choices, because then I couldn't, you know, choose transition. But, you know, it really was just a consequence of intelligent, informed choice that I made on my own, you know. You know, and it worked out. It just came to a point where it could no longer be the right choice, both for me and for my ex. So since then, I've had to learn how to really embrace who I am, because if I didn't, then all of the pain I went through at the end of my marriage, and with my marriage ending, was for nothing, you know. And the pain that my ex went through was for nothing, you know. If I continue to live a lie, or suppress and hide who I am from myself and from the people that I love, then nothing was gained out of all of that hurt and frustration and pain. So, you know, that has helped me learn to accept that, you know, this is who I am. And, you know, I found a word that helped describe the way that I felt by gender. You know, I thought I invented the word, and then I went to Google and found that other people also identified that way, just in various different ways. But there was no real resource for it, so I opened bygender.net. Somebody else owned the URL at the time, and I bought it from them because they weren't doing anything with it. There was a page up, there was a static page, but the person who was running it had gotten ill and wasn't able to do what they had hoped to do with it. So, you know, they were happy to sell it to me, and I opened bygender.net. And now 3.5 years later, here we are, you know. That has, being the admin there and doing these videos and sort of, I don't know, is it weird to say the face of bigender? Like, a voice of bigender? Like, I don't know. I think in the small, tiny bigender community that exists, I'm known. You know, doing all of that has helped me just accept that this is me, and this is my life. This is the life I want to live. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I had wanted to do, say 10 years ago, that I didn't think I could do if I was honest with myself. You know, have a family, have a partner that accepts and embraces me for who I am, own a house. All of these things I thought I had to meet some cis-het model life in order to have. And I've learned that I don't. You know, I have my daughters from my marriage. You know, I was a different person living the life that led me to having them. But, you know, I have a partner that accepts me for who I am. And we have a house that's all ours. Well, I mean, the bank owns a pretty significant chunk of it, but I mean, this is my home now, you know, and I have wanted this for a long time. Actually, growing up, we moved all the time. Every couple of years, I was moving to a new school, you know, new house, and I went to 4 different elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 2 high schools. So, you know, I've had this sort of nomadic life. Then I went to college, and I ended up moving around a bunch after, like you do in your 20s. I got married. We moved a couple of times, you know, for more space or various other reasons. You know, I think this is probably the 11th or 12th home I've lived in. So I've never had a place that had roots, you know, like that I grew up in. And I want that for my kids. Now, they've lived in a couple of houses or a couple of places as well, and now they have 2 homes. But you know, this is the house that they're going to grow up in, and at least that's my hope. And you know, when they grow up, if they have kids or a family or whatever, and they come home for Thanksgiving, this is where they'll be, or Christmas or whatever. You know, that's my hope. I want them to have a place that is full of memories for them. That's a little off track of the, you know, how did you accept your transness, but it all fits into this whole idea of learning that I could have the things that I'd always wanted and still be authentic to myself and who I am. Went a long way toward accepting that this is me, this is who I get to be, and this is who I want to be. So, you know, and I've gotten a lot of validation from viewers like you guys, from people who've come to bygender.net, people who find me on Tumblr. You know, I've gotten some really sweet, touching messages, and that helps me feel like I'm doing the right thing, both with my life and with the activities I choose to do as part of it. So, yeah. So I think that's it probably for that question. Sort of a long roundabout way of getting there, but you know, this is who I am, and it's taken me a long time to accept that that's okay, and that's a right way to be. It's not the only way I could live my life, but it's a way that makes me feel happy, and makes me feel like I've done some things right to get here, you know. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to stop rambling today. Leave me messages in my YouTube inbox or comments down below. As a reminder, you have to have a Google Plus account now for that. I'm sorry. If it were a setting that I could turn off, I would, because unfortunately for trans people, it's not always safe to associate our activities online with our actual public known name. And I wish that's something Google had considered. But of course it's not, because people don't think about trans people. Yeah, that's it. So, find me on Tumblr, Brin Convenient, Twitter, @BrinConvenient, also bygender.net/forum. So, I will see you guys tomorrow.